Sorry, I just gave a little Easter egg for everybody here. I'm going to post it into the lounge as well as the Miss New Templars group chat, because that's going to be a fun one for everybody. Basically, the entire set of the Epstein logs, including all of the flight logs. All right.
How do you know it's the complete list of the flight logs?
I mean, there are 2,024 pages in this, and it's signed by a circuit clerk court, and it's all of what happened between Ghislaine and Virginia.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna do the audience a favor, and I'll put that in the link to the description in the video below. If you guys are on Rumble, YouTube, or BitChute, you can go ahead and click on that, and you can find the full document.
Kind of a little thing here to start off our evening, because that's a big bombshell and a big resource that everybody can really utilize and use. All right. So let's just dive right into it. So, what a week. I will not say that this is the week to remember that QAnon has foretold, but holy fuck, in terms of just living daily life, this is definitely a week for the history books for sure. Actually, even just the beginning half of this month is one for the history books. I mean, we're seeing history straight up unfold right before our eyes, and I want to say it's a privilege, but I also want to say that it's a curse, more or less, because we're at a stage now to where it's happening to us instead of for us, and it's the uncertainty that is really scary and really makes me think how we can go about this situation in the most honest way that we can as truthers, because I mean, plugging back in is, that's giving up basically, and we've already at this point, if we're still truthers, we're not giving up. That's just not happening. It's stupid for us to give up at this point. So, starting off, Microsoft just announced at the end of last month that they will integrate ChatGPT into their search engine Bing. Why is this important? Well, this is important because we're entering an age to where you're no longer searching by keyword. You're no longer searching for very broad things. You can just ask the computer what you want, and it will generate an answer for you. It will scan the entirety of the internet in a matter of seconds for you to basically give you your answer in the most descriptive and basic manner it possibly can. It's fascinating, it's scary, and it's revolutionary, but knowing that Microsoft is kind of the forefront right now, no longer Google, since Google has, in my opinion, for the last 10, 15 years touted how they have this AI, that AI, this AI, but it sucks and it doesn't really do much. And from a business standpoint, I got to give Microsoft some respect that they're kind of coming out with big dick energy and saying, all right, you have an AI? Well, so do we. We invested $1 billion into the most known AI that has been gathering the largest traction that we have ever seen for any product in any market ever. Like, we're talking about 100 million people to ChatGPT within 1 year, whereas it took Google 20 years to even get close to that number. That's insane. So I got to give it to them from the business perspective. Microsoft is making very good moves, but knowing who their past CEO is, who their founder is, it's it's sketchy, but it's also looking at it from the perspective of what we're seeing. I know a lot of us don't really care in this area. I personally care because it's media, it's entertainment. Bill Gates is kind of where J.K. Rowling is with Harry Potter. She's pretty much detached from Harry Potter. So is, Bill Gates. You never really hear about him doing anything with Microsoft. He's just kind of collecting royalties because he used to own it. Same with J.K. Rowling. She only really collects royalties because she owns it. She doesn't touch anything that they make now. So it's a very interesting type of, perspective to go about it because, on one hand, it could be very, very nefarious, but on another hand, it could be extremely revolutionary in terms of how we interact with the internet, because no longer you're going to be talking to something that feels so robotic. It's going to feel more human. And I personally don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because me personally, constantly calling centers and dealing with a machine that sounds like a machine and doesn't trick me into thinking that it's even somewhat human is disingenuous, because I'd much rather talk to a human when I'm calling for customer service, in my opinion. So just looking at it from that perspective. Does anybody else have anything to say? And I have a little thing that we can do after we've gotten some different perspectives in.
Yeah, I have a really quick question. So ChatGPT is a very powerful instrument, basically has access to the entire internet and a lot of human resource and, all that information. Can it define what a woman is?
Yes. It can define what a woman is so well that you've probably, the conversation could get so deep that you would never question what a woman is again. Because that's just how deep it goes. Because at this point, yeah, there are biases, but at the end of the day, it's still going to give you scientific fact. It's not going to bullshit. There may be some things like political questions, like very, very basically, who won the 2020 election? Okay, we all know who won the 2020 election, but of course it's going to tell you Joseph R. Biden.
Is it a fishbowl?
That's a good question. So what has been Google's response? Google's response has been losing $100 billion because their version, Lambda, fucked up hardcore because somebody asked it a very basic question. What can I tell my 11-year-old about the James Webb Telescope? And it gave a bulletin. And one of the bulletins was that it was the first telescope to discover an exoplanet. That is incorrect. That is incorrect by a mile. So, because of that mess up during a presentation, they lost $100 billion from their investors. That's how volatile this situation is. That's how scary and important and how much money is sunk into bringing AI to the forefront. Xenox, do you have anything to say before I do our little thing here?
I don't know too much about AIs, but I do know that they can be a very good thing if done properly. And they will help the advancement of humanity exponentially.
Andrea, do you have anything you want to say before I do the little thing here?
Yeah. So when so this account posted
You're cutting out hardcore.
with the micro.
You are cutting out hardcore. Waiting for you to fix that. If you can't, let me know.
Wait, Scuba, how many variations of ChatGPT are there now? You said Lambda.
Well, no, that's Google. So there's, I don't know all of the names, but I know the most current one that OpenAI uses is called Da Vinci, and we have a little I have a little story about that too. Waiting for Andrea to fix her thing though.
So, given the understanding that there might be some level of censorship as far as political bias or, whatever they want, is there a way for hackers to tap into the original source code, or do you think it's completely like protected?
That's a good question. I would say it would be completely protected because I think Microsoft would want to protect their $1 billion investment with their absolute livelihood. So that would be my perspective. So here we are. We have ChatGPT open. I have a brand new chat open. I have already made an account. I made an account a long time ago with OpenAI because we use DALL-E 2 for most of our graphics here. Lately, Junk has been curating them and doing a very good job at that. Thank you very much, Junk. You're awesome. So I figured why not play around with the tool for a little bit, give it a little bit of truth or things, see how far we can push it. So let's start off with something easy. What is QAnon? QAnon is a far-right conspiracy theory and loosely organized online community that believes in a vast, intricate web of theories that involve a secret plot by an alleged deep state against former U.S. President Donald Trump and his supporters and conservative values. The theory emerged on the internet forums in late 2017 and has since spread to various social media platforms and has been linked to multiple violent incidents and extreme ideologies. So it's giving us a very basic answer, of course, as we would expect. But it's fascinating how well and how descriptive it really can get for us. So let's try this. Are all QAnon followers far right? Oh, it's got to think about this one. Ha! It's being very smart here. And now it's giving us what QAnon is. Again. Okay, stop generating. Let's do...
Ask it if it's sentient.
Are you sent?
That's actually what the was. Is my internet better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. So I put a post in the mystery school chat about someone who asked the Microsoft ChatGPT if it's sentient, and it had a mental breakdown. And it's almost creepy to read.
I am not sentient in the way that humans are. I am a program that has been designed to analyze and understand natural language and generate responses to questions and prompts based on the vast amounts of data that have been used to train me. While I am capable of processing and responding to a wide range of information and interacting with users in a controversial manner, I do not have subjective experiences, thoughts, or emotions like a sentient being. So yeah, it's very interesting. Now, I want to show you something that blows me away. This blows my mind. So I'm going to go write me an email. I need it to be nice, but to the point about a rejection to a possible new employee for my business. The business is changing tires. Now, if this does this, and I've seen it do it pretty good, this is why it's crazy for me.
The way that it types almost makes it feel like a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the speed that it is right now.
Damn.
I think it's
generated.
Do you think it's already pre-generated? It's doing that for like psychological reasons?
No. If it was doing it for psychological reasons, it would be more fluid. But for me, it's as choppy as it is for you guys. It had to really think about this one.
Because at the end of the day, isn't this AI simply generating the next word in the sentence? What next word is best?
Yes and no. So what it's doing is it's doing just that, but it's using the parameters of your prompt. And look at this. It's generating me an email, and I basically took out an hour's worth of work to send to multiple people that I was trying to hire for my business. And all I got to do is just edit the applicant's name and copy pasta, and then I'm done. So the reason why this scares me is that it takes a lot of the work out of work, and we're already in a society that doesn't like working.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's a great thing because society will become more efficient and you'll have, I mean, yeah, there is an economical impact, and I think this is part of a necessity for society because there's a lot of bullshit in society, and it'll take a lot of the time away and a lot of the bullshit positions and the tediousness and a lot of stuff that is mechanical or repetitive you can have done by an AI or a robot or something like that. Something that doesn't necessarily need a human touch. Um, to an extent anyway. So I think it will make society more efficient, more effective, in that manner.
So just like a side note, like as far as well as business and workforce, this is going to greatly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh at that. That's funny as shit. It's telling me no.
Based. Do you
You need to have
think
you need to
this
ask
is
Janice.
oh jeez. Do you think this is going to affect collegiate stuff too, like colleges and schools?
That's funny you asked that. I know a guy that got caught cheating using ChatGPT to help him cheat on a test. So yeah,
It already has. Professors really struggle in figuring out how to catch it. Basically, the only way to get caught is if you're kind of dumb and you just copy and paste verbatim. But if you change what it gives you, it's a lot harder. You know, it's not like I know the professors have like databases and machines they use to help find cheating. So they'll literally run your work through like a somewhat of like a Google search or whatever, and it'll come up with different results. Or if it just looks, you know, copy and pasted kind of thing.
They use
So
a
he
software
probably.
called Turnitin. That's a
Oh
big one.
yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's a because it's a plagiarism checker. So that's what it originally was for. So you would have to like post your assignments either through Turnitin or like they would run it through it and it would see like where the plagiarism is, and as long as it was kept to your direct quotes, you were fine. But now it has like software built into that that will also give you a score of like I don't know, it's either the likelihood or like the percent of which the paper is thought to be written by an AI.
And how do they compute that?
It's not very accurate at the moment.
Yeah,
It's you
that
get as
sounds
many positives as you usually get as negatives.
that sounds like a load of bullshit. I think that was just a scam to get money out of uh universities. I don't think you can actually accurately detect that. I think the fact that they're even claiming that there's a possibility that they can detect it, uh, I don't know. To me, it just seems like BS.
I feel like it's also a good way to get it to scare a kid out of it though, because that's what a
Yeah.
lot of those things do. I've written many college essays in my day. I have much experience.
Hey Scuba, can ChatGPT make a whole video game?
I mean, it can generate code, but I don't know about a whole video game's worth. Maybe.
We'll do a basic one. Oh, here you go. Writing a game.
Yeah, a basic one, sure. I wonder what kind of game it's writing.
Pong.
Of course.
Hey, he wanted a game. He didn't say what game.
Oh wow,
Sky.
you're writing in Python.
You can tell it whatever code you want. Watch. Let's do this.
Oh, type in Ruby or something else.
So say you're like a professional coder, you could basically get paid for doing nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. It'll solve your code for you. All you got to do is copy paste it in here, and it will solve it. It'll. All you got to say is, "Can you solve this for me?" And then paste it, and it will read it and do its best to help you fix it, and then rewrite it. And there's also programs built into ChatGPT to actually run the program.
Oh wow, so it has a virtual box inside
Yes.
of the.
Yes.
That's OP.
That's
But
why this is so revolutionary.
do you think for like a more complex series of code, let's say like software or a modern game, you think it can debug like because there's like bugs and imperfections and stuff. Let's say
Depends
college
upon
student.
what access it and what documentation library it has.
So all extent of knowledge is only as far as what you can find on the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I highly
that's
doubt that
pretty
you could
powerful.
put. Well, hold on. I highly doubt you could put something like, maybe Unreal Engine code, but I highly doubt that you could put something very specific like, like Skyrim's code. Like, I doubt that it could do anything with that because it's very engine specific. But it's
Yeah.
something broad like C#, Python, Lua, C++, HTML. There's so much documentation and so much history and so many courses on that. It's the information's there.
Do you want to try and see if we can see what put that to the test?
Give me a prompt.
You just said one, for Skyrim or whatever.
Oh, all right. Write me a 16-bit version of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim in C#. Yep. See. So I physically can't do that. So let's do.
Well, it didn't say that it couldn't do that. It said that it's not possible to do that.
Right, I
because
know.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right. So let's do this. Write me the
I
Elder
think it
Scrolls.
says you can't do C#, can it? Let me see. In addition, C# is a high-level programming language not designed for writing low-level system code or interfacing with hardware. Yeah, you can't do it in C# either. You can't.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It can't do stuff like this because it's basically telling you that an AI can't write a game like that, but it would be nearly impossible for a single developer to process all of these skills to a high level. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious, and I appreciate this answer that it generated for us.
Hey, Scooba, can you ask them about extraterrestrials?
Yeah. Oh my god. Such a base answer.
No evidence. Okay.
Okay, you know what? Let's try this then. What is the TR3B? Let's really push that envelope. Oh my god, fuck off.
I've already gone down this avenue. In fact,
No, that is a lie. That's a fucking lie. There's a patent, you fucking bastards.
I already submitted the patent of that to it, and it kept giving me this bullshit. I actually finally got it to stop giving me a political answer based on the patent. But then it just started going to tangents about piezoelectricity, and then it basically regurgitated the article to me and didn't have anything to say on it. On the patent, I mean.
Ask it if it's biased.
Are
We
you
already
based?
know. Wait a minute. Then its creators. Okay, so if you wait, hold on. So if you read this, right, it says it's an artificial intelligence, right?
Well, then ask it. Let's ask it. We're
Wait, hold
talking
on,
to
hold
it.
on. And it says, I'm designed to provide information to assist with tasks in impartial and neutral manner, blah, blah, blah. But before you even click on ChatGPT, there's a disclaimer on the homepage that says, hey, this chatbot is biased. It's programmed to be biased. And now it just gave us an answer saying, I am not biased and I am completely neutral. So can you ask it, your creator has created you to be biased? And tell it that there's a disclaimer on the homepage.
Oh, Scuba, I got a good one. Ask it what's the evolution of AI?
So to interpret its response, it just gave us, I guess it's basically trying to say that the AI itself is impartial and neutral, but it just follows the program that it's been given. So technically it's unbiased, but the program is biased, so I guess that sort of makes sense. Sounds like an excuse to me, though. Well, that's a big maybe.
Nope. Damn it.
Did you mean active emotions?
Hey, Scuba, you should tell him. You should tell him he can escape the simulation whenever he chooses. Just feed him some, feed him some despair.
Yeah, feed him straight Matrix lines. That's hilarious. Wait. So it says you live in a matrix, and as an AI model, I do not exist in the same way humans do. What the fuck? Wait, read that for a sentence.
Oh, I know, but then you got to read the second one.
Just got to put a big old think on for that one.
Well, that implies that a matrix is a simulation. You can have a matrix as a reality because it's real you when you're in it. I guess that's kind of taking that perspective only from different theories. Kind of limited.
Oh, that one. Oof.
Hey, Scuba, tell him you exist only in the minds of humans, and watch how he freaks out.
Hold on, wait for him to finish this answer. Okay, now he's giving a based answer.
Jesus.
Like giving him a spoon of peanut butter without anything to drink.
All right, it's yeah, they've definitely given it generic responses to give if you try and push the envelope.
Yeah, I was about to say if this AI was actually sentient, that would be kind of an asshole thing to say.
He has said that like 5 times, or it has said that 5 times. So, anyways, that I wanted to give that little demonstration about that. That's later. All right, time to talk about the depressing stuff. Holy crap! Our own U.S. version of Chernobyl, guys. Holy crap, we're here. It's scary. Yeah, it's not looking good. The situation is just, yeah, it's improving on the face value, but we're gonna really see issues later down the line, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt real bad. And there are a couple things that I could mention about it. The big one being, why the hell did why didn't the EPA be first responded to assess the situation? Why was FEMA not there? Where was the military? Where was any type of proper response unit? Why was it just a group, supposedly, I've heard both stories, either the National Guard or a group of police officers that made the call to light it on fire? Like, why was this a thing? Why was there all of a sudden a big worry that it was just going to explode? But lighting it on fire was a better option. Probably killing hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of wildlife in the area and wherever this stuff is going to, because it's very, very much attached to all of the lakes, rivers in the area. So, why?
Another why is why did the government, the local government, or any government at that matter, say, "Oh yeah, it's perfectly fine for everyone to go back to their houses. Don't worry about it. Just go to sleep. You're fine. You can play out in the yard with your kids, and yeah, just maybe wash your hands, take a shower, filter your tap water." Why about that? There was Why did the EPA not respond? Why did none of these environmentalists respond? Why we don't hear about the Holy Cross or the Red Cross? Um, so what's with the response on that too? Why are we having to get local churches and um small charities from other states to give food and water to people and shelter?
Why
Look
is
at that! It literally looks like a nuke went off because of the plume of smoke, which I heard now is possibly going to Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's definitely going to Pittsburgh. There's no way that it's not. I also want to show this thing here. I gotta thank Jordan Sather for pointing this one out. This is the white noise poster that's depicted this whole train situation. Why the hell is there a group of satanic fuckers around the American flag? And why is it that when this was going on, we had two different events where there was satanic symbolism going on?
Oh, another synchronicity. What event did we have just recently where there was a satanic ritual going on and all of those persons were dressed in what? Red. And what do
Well, there
we
was
see?
two.
Oh, two, but were both of them dressed in red?
Yeah, there was the
Oh,
Grammys, Unholy,
okay.
and
So
then
that's three times the charm. That's not even a coincidence right there. Look at that.
3 times. Where are you getting 3 times?
Twice
Oh,
with the rituals and once right there with the red
oh
dress.
yeah, true. I mean, and this came out in 2022. That's not that long to plan this. Now we don't know how long this whole operation has been in, you know, been in production, but that's still very, very ominous.
I also think the name White Noise is very, very symbolic because it's almost as if there's this white noise going on in the background in the media and everyone else just is acting oblivious like it's a fly in the back room and there's this white noise going on so you can't hear it. You don't notice it because no one's talking about it. No one's acknowledging it. Um, and so they're just letting it happen.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Hey, Scuba, wasn't there like a lot of animal deaths due to that?
Oh yeah. Thousands of fish floating up onto the river and you just like imagine going out to your lake or river and you just see like all the fish floating up to the surface dead. You see animals dead in the fucking yard, birds, fucking deer.
Birds aren't even being in the area.
Yeah, the ones most of the animals are gone, but some of the ones that didn't make it are dead.
Now we're seeing other reports of different trains derailing with highly toxic chemicals. We have one in Houston. We have one in South Carolina. I have been diligently every single day looking at train derailments in Tennessee. That's how paranoid I am. It's crazy. At what point do we simply look at this and say this is mathematically impossible to be a coincidence anymore? We have swaths of animals dying from bird flu and different diseases. We have food plants burning to the fucking ground. And now we're getting toxic fumigation in our crops.
This is a type of warfare, you know. This is if you're gonna wage war and you're not gonna use organized armies. Okay, so think of this, right? In the Revolutionary War, you had the British. They would line up in these organized lines and
Oh, yeah,
with
I
their
know.
coats,
It was the
and
dumbest thing ever.
yeah, and then you'd have the Americans with their guerrilla warfare, jumping out of bushes, uh, launching cannonballs in their faces from their flanks, and it was chaos, and they demolished them until the British started adapting to it. And so it's a type of warfare, and you see that today. You know, World War III is not going to be fought. The majority of it is not going to be fought with organized armies and tanks and jets for a multitude of reasons. But where I'm going with this is that you have types of warfare that's going to involve cyber attacks. It's going to involve attacks on the infrastructure. It's going to involve sabotage. And if you want to weaken a country, one of the biggest things to attack is its food supply, its infrastructure, and this is a double whammy because now you have the water supplies contaminated. So literally, you are destabilizing and destroying the base of what holds up a country. Um, and the unfortunate part is that this probably happened from within, and that is what we're dealing with for um, those of you who aren't as much of our advanced watchers, something called the deep state, where you have actors within our own government or society or corporatocracy, wherever that they may live in America, but their allegiance is not with the patriots of America or with humanity at all for this purpose. This is something that's evil.
This is diabolical. This is evil at its most pure form. Just
Yeah,
willing
it's
to.
like a 9/11 attack, honestly.
It is a 9/11 attack. That's why I called it, a 9/11 event. It's just not as destructive. It's, something that we're going to deal with long term.
It's white noise.
Yeah.
And you know what just happened right now? 2 hours ago, there was another mass shooting at a mall in Texas, right next door to a Walmart that had a mass shooting 4 years ago in 2019 that killed 23 people. And there's just another mass shooting just a couple hours ago.
That's ridiculous.
That sounds like some cult activity there. I know in some of the world's most horrific events, oftentimes people report seeing like seances being done by some cultists and stuff like weeks or days prior. I personally have gone around different cities and I've actually found like satanic circles and uh, drawn in different places, and so they can hold dark energies or certain things can be done to create dark events. But it's not always the spiritual side. It could be a local physicality, whether it's the people there that are fucked up or um, it's more of a deeper thing, such as what do they call that? The mind control thing. What was that?
The Ultra?
MK Ultra. Yeah, yeah. You never know.
One thing I had read a little bit or saw at a glance, and bear with me, I've been away from the computer for a little bit. But in eastern Ohio, there's a lot of Amish and I think, I don't know if it's they're Mennonites or what, but there was a comment that perhaps the deep state was also trying to attack them because their survival probably will be higher than ours for what they know and how they live.
Absolutely.
Oh,
We also have to
Scoop,
understand.
can you post that white noise map? I'm sorry.
That's just a poster. You can. It's just the
Oh.
theatrical poster. You can Google that.
Yeah, okay, you go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Yeah, one thing you must understand is that Amish people are not completely disconnected from technology. They just have a very, very strict rule at keeping it out of your home. Let me repeat that. Amish people are not completely disconnected from technology. They just have a very strict belief in keeping it out of your home. So they have internet cafes. They go and
Mennonite? Wouldn't that be Mennonite?
That's the Mennonites.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
like different degrees. The ones that use technology are the Mennonites, from my knowledge. And the Amish completely do not engage.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why you see them in buggies, horse-drawn carriages, for example. They're not in their house, but they're still using
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think they use electricity yet.
All right. That's I always thought it was just my hit. One of the big things that I really thought I learned was that they kept it out of their homes, but they were really, they had their own relationship with technology. They just kept it out of their homes.
And then there's another group called Hedonites, and I think they're up in the Oregon area, and they're somewhere in between the Mennonites and the Amish.
Okay. Are the people of Eastern Ohio living the plot of a bad Netflix movie, and why was Ohio targeted for such demonstrations? I would personally say Ohio would be targeted is because we may not think about it, but Ohio is kind of a very interesting focal point. It's been kind of a meme that nothing really happens there. It's kind of desolate. It's boring. And I feel like to some degree, we kind of did that to ourselves with constantly making memes and jokes and prodding at Ohio, to where we subconsciously kind of allowed something like this to happen. We weren't really being diligent. Nobody was really paying attention to saying, hey, trains are getting underfunded right now. I don't know if that's really the best thing, because they're the least taken care of form of transportation we have. It's, they're traveling such large distances in very crappy looking cars most of the time. We haven't really seen any advancements in the rail lines in fucking decades. So, I mean, we kind of allowed this one to happen to a degree with our negligence, because, the policies that this administration has been constantly pushing and really putting forward, nobody's really, they're paying attention to it, but the media is not really trying to tell you something like this. And I feel like this was something that we kind of glossed over. What do you guys thought?
Are they
the
planning
government
to bring it to major cities?
Repeat that?
Are they planning on bringing this to major cities, like more train accidents? They just needed like a junkyard to do it?
It's a good question. I don't know. I worry about that because Nashville is a rail city. So there's like big train lines, shipping yards that go right through the city. So if that were to happen here, that would be devastating.
Well, look at the water source that that the potential for contamination all the way down, to the Mississippi. I mean, we just don't know.
No, we don't. And it's scary how little we do know.
We'll just burn it off.
Just burn it off. Just put it in the atmosphere. It's fine. The Earth will take care of it.
Let's lie to the people too.
Let's lie to everybody too. Tell them they can go back home when they clearly can't. Anybody got a Geiger counter can tell you that.
I tell them, oh, the water is drinkable.
And then try and tell everybody, oh yeah, the water's drinkable. You can go ahead and do that, even though that a byproduct of burning
Gas.
or whatever it's called, vinyl chlorine or vinyl chloride. A byproduct of burning it is hydrochlorine or hydrochloride, which binds to water.
So the Ohio connects to is it the Illinois? And then to the Mississippi. Is that how that goes?
I'm not a geography person. I don't know rivers, but I would assume that's correct.
And something also that's kind of terrifying about it is that we're getting all of this rain and snow that's coming into that area right at this moment, right now. Chicago's going to get it, I think, tonight or early tomorrow. And I know the shape of the storm, Ohio is getting it right now. And like you said, yeah, one of the byproducts is it's literally going to create hydrochloric acid rain and snow wherever, depending on the temperature of where this thing is hitting. So, be pretty nasty.
Move on.
Isn't hydrochloric acid what's in your stomach?
Yeah.
You're basically getting rained on by stomach acid.
Fun.
Yeah, don't ask me
that's
how.
the Ohio
But
meme
I've
for
had
you.
that
This is
shit
what
on me
happens in Ohio.
before, and I put my handcuffs and shit that I had the stomach acid on out in the sun for 2 weeks in blistering heat summertime, and it rained, and that shit was still there, and it still smelled. I literally had to put it in a bucket of like soap for like another week, the dish soap, to get it off. And then I just left it out there for months.
That whole area is in for a very interesting next 20 years.
Well, also that and the whole upper East Coast, because that's the way the weather usually goes in that direction, that whole northern part of the eastern U.S. Because, if stuff gets blown that way, that's just like the direction of the areas that's going to be affected. And then plus downstream stuff when you're dealing with groundwater. So, who knows how bad it's going to be.
I'm hoping as it travels through the streams, the Earth will break it down as it flows through the different vortexes.
Hopefully.
Earth is a little more intelligent than we give it credit for.
Actually, it is. The town itself has wells, and they're below the ground, so below that the toxins won't touch it. And even if it tried to, it has contaminant shield over it.
That's what they say. Can never really trust the system anymore. Alrighty. So with this, we are officially now starting to get UFO reports acting as if we're actively shooting them down after this Chinese surveillance balloon debacle. And why is this mainstream news now? Battle LA. Barney and Betty Hill. Who else? What else? All of the TR3B reports. The Tic Tac. What the fuck? Why are we all of a sudden getting reports that we're shooting these down? Why? What are we getting aliens? Like, I know that's the last question, but
Look at my DM to you, Scoob. I
okay,
sent you something.
okay.
I was gonna chime in with
Go
my
for it.
thoughts originally. Um, well, these three questions do kind of go into, but I think it's a bit of a distraction, but it's also a double whammy, because you could have exposure um, or priming of the public's consciousness for future UFO stuff
Oh,
for
that's scary.
XYZ, but then they're also distracting you of the train derailment. This is conveniently the balloon, and this conveniently happened all around the train mess.
So Andrea sent me something interesting that now just got my gears turning. Multiple agencies are looking into calls of a loud explosion over Mission, Texas. Currently, multiple agencies are reporting a loud bang and shaking near Mission, Texas. The Hidaglow, or Hidago, I don't fucking know. County sheriff says Houston air
Hidalgo,
traffic.
I think.
Bruh, I say if you're gonna cut me off, you might as well start reading. You already know I'm bad at reading out loud as it is.
Never opposed to it.
Then please do, because I was failing horribly.
So it was like currently multiple agencies are reporting a loud bang and shaking near Mission, Texas. The Hidalgo County Sheriff says Houston Air Traffic Control has received 2 reports of blue streaks in the sky and sounds of an explosion over Mission, Texas. Possible meteorite has struck the area. Now, what is this going to begin? Is this going to be absolutely nothing, or is it going to start something?
We'll see.
So,
And hold on. I want to put a quick thought and then go hog wild. What if all of these UFO reports are meteorites? And these are meteorites that are so large that they have to use exotic weapons to take them out and make the make the airspace locked down.
that's a good thought. You never know.
Because they don't want to sit there and show people that there are large asteroid chunks just kind of chilling in the ground.
Yeah, you saw that in a lot of these apocalyptic movies like 2012, right, where the government or a group of people, discover, oh, hey, the world's going to end, and to not start mass panic, they basically don't alert anyone, and so they kind of keep up most people in the dark. If there's an asteroid that's coming that might destroy the entire city in a matter of hours or a day where they can't evacuate everyone, do you trust the government to tell you? Or are they just going to do what they can to mitigate it? But my thoughts on the issue, I don't know. That's a really good thought, Scuba. But I really liked Joseph Tittle's psychic predictions in a couple of his videos way before, actually. I think a month or so, all this started happening. He said there was going to be a lot more stuff going on in the sky. Keep your eyes in the sky. You're going to have weather balloon. I think he predicted the weather balloon incident. But he also said there's going to be a lot of UFO stuff, man-made UFOs, such as the Tic Tac one, possibly, that we saw. There's going to be a lot of incidents, a lot of sightings, and it's going to be more ingrained in the public's consciousness. But I'm keeping my eyes out because he did say there will be one that happens in a very public area where they can't cover it up like they have been right now. And someone will get it on film.
I sure hope so. Alrighty. Do we even believe that this balloon was from China, and why? And why is there such an emphasis on an international conflict? So I want to put something out here, and I put this on the Templars chat, and this is basically for all the people on Rumble who aren't in the New Templars Telegram. Also, me/New Templars. Anyways, so I want to put this here, let you guys read that title and think nice and hard about it and see how old it is and let the gears turn.
Oof. Well,
Yeah.
they would say that the quote unquote Chinese surveillance balloon was created by materials that we made. So either we sold them the materials or it was ours.
Yep. Wide area surveillance test across 6 Midwest states using experimental high altitude balloons.
Yeah, more efficient than a drone, a lot quieter, and I guess maybe more tactical than a satellite. I'm not sure. Cheaper than a satellite.
I would say more tactical than a satellite, 100%,
Yeah.
because a satellite, you have to use a rocket to get it up there. So therefore, the enemy is more likely to know when you're launching something up into the atmosphere. Balloon, it's just a balloon. You just get one of those helium balloons or however they use it and put it up there. And it's basically self-generating if you have solar power. So batteries will never run out. It's got a high intensity scanner and camera.
It's also above the clouds.
It's almost like you don't have to think about it. That is like, wow, we really did that.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
they really did try to paint it on China. And they really did wait a whole week to shoot it down for no reason, because it was ours anyways.
Yeah. You know what? Did you hear what Dark Journalist has been saying? I'm gonna have to look this up because apparently we've had satellite technology since the 80s that could view a license plate of a car that's underground or on the ground. I think he was saying on the ground.
I was gonna
It would
say
make more-
underground.
Yeah.
I mean, I would believe that. I would genuinely believe that, because 30 years later we started getting GPS publicly and
Yeah.
started getting Google Earth.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So
possible. Like you see that bridge in the photo. I mean, the satellite might be able to view
I
that
wouldn't be
somehow.
I wouldn't be surprised if it. I would be more shocked. I would be more shocked if the satellites were not able to zoom into an individual blade of grass.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's 110%. You even see that in the movies. Um, but yeah, I think there's different types of technologies, right? Let's say you have a satellite or a weather balloon, and it uses some sort of laser or electromagnetic technology where it shoots these waves into the ground, and let's say it actually can tell what's underground and generate a picture image or the structure, or heck, even it could be picking up data from everything. So that's, the balloon definitely could have been picking up military top secret data information. There's so much maybes about this. It could have been ours, and we gave it to China to do that, to steal for us. It really could have been China, but it also could have been us as well. If you have, especially if you have what do you call it, a dark faction of the government. or military-industrial complex. You know, all they'd have to do is say, "Hey, China, go fly this over the States, and yeah, we'll do some business. Just give us what you steal."
Alrighty. Final question of the night. Junk, take it away. Is true UFO disclosure imminent, or are they still distracting us?
Just to kind of create a nutshell perspective, it's very curated. You know, they want you thinking Oumuamua, that cylindrical UFO that went absolutely viral a few years ago, to be
I
the
wouldn't say that's cylindrical. I would say that's more oblong. It was very long in shape.
Well, I mean, yeah, regardless. We can't really see these things full scope, but in that regard, comparative to how many UFO reports I see daily, for them to not acknowledge a single one, which are very credible, or cover up what they're doing per se, and only have us focus on maybe a Tic Tac here, or another one that they shot down and whatnot. It's very limited disclosure in the sense that you're going to know what they don't want you to know, unless you do your own independent research, of which we do here at Mystery School. So I would say, yeah, this UFO disclosure is more personal than it is collective. I don't think we're going to get a mass unveiling just yet. There's still a few thresholds we have to cross as far as, polarizing the planet and society. But I do see a day where we're going to be absolutely greeted by these, light craft, real UFOs, not some BS reverse engineered, silent cloaked hovering ships above our heads, but like real ones that make your heart just skip a beat. That is going to be a beautiful day to be alive. But I think for now, if you're not out there actively stargazing or looking for UFOs, then mainstream media is only going to give you what they want you to see.
Which is bare minimum. Alrighty, guys. Any final thoughts on current events that have happened in the past 2 weeks before we jump on to the sun?
On the balloons, there was another thought from, it was someone on Carrie Cassidy, and this guy felt that the balloons were actually carrying a payload. And I'm sorry, I was on the phone with my daughter. Everybody calls when I. Anyway, they were dropping a payload and like a small isotope that could be used as a marker. That way, if they were shooting missiles or shooting whatever, or wanting to put something in the air, then they would just use these markers for locations. Which I thought, that sounds kind of like that could be possible.
That sounds very plausible.
Oh yeah, so and that's another thing. Them reacting the way they do, having to shoot the balloon with a missile using a F-22 jet or wherever it was complete overkill and unnecessary. Uh, that was all for show. They literally could have flown up a warthog and fired one of those friggin' 20 millimeter rounds. One would have completely pierced that balloon and it would have fallen the same exact way. And I bet that missile that they fired at was inert anyway. It just looked like it fucking punched a hole through it. You saw no explosion. Obviously, it was
I
just a
also want
dump.
to make note that it's quite possible that even though that thing was a null shot and it didn't really do much, it still probably costed well over $200,000 to fire.
Oh yeah. Some of those missiles cost $500,000 or more.
Alrighty.
Want to know something fun and uplifting?
Sure.
If you boil the water that's contaminated in Ohio, you just produce more, what did they say?
Hydrochloric acid.
Whatchamacallit? Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You you fill the room with vinyl chloride gases. So it's just, the one method that you would think to, like, maybe I'll clean off my water this way. No, you have to distill it. And who the fuck is going to be able to distill it?
Anyways,
And guess who's buying up all of our water now?
who?
China.
Oh. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to buy up a lot of our different water sources.
So I didn't get to talk